So at Leap Forward, we designed simple English learning solutions for children and youth from underserved communities. And we deliver these solutions in pure, unadulterated regional language by training local youth who themselves cannot speak English and certifying them to become Leap Forward trainers. The primary motivation is equal access to all towards English enabled opportunities. The importance of English to employment or jobs is well known, well appreciated. But what may not be so common knowledge is the fact that if one wants to pursue science after grade 10, right, the medium of instruction is essentially English. You can't become an engineer or a doctor or a CA in Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, which means students who study in the regional language schools are at a serious disadvantage when it comes to pursuing professional education. 55% of all the content on the internet is English, less than 1% is regional language content, right. For millions of youth who carry internet enabled smartphones but who cannot read or comprehend English, internet is going to become a means of entertainment where they watch video clips, movies and songs. The learn to speak English market is approximately 1,500 crore per annum in this country, right. So there are a plethora of language service providers. The fairly young concept of affordable private schools or low cost private English medium schools has also tapped effectively in the desire of parents to see their children study in English medium schools. The ELT market, English language training market, is $4.5 billion per year in this country, right, from KG to 12 all put together. So while the supply side has taken a note and cognizance of what the demand is, the quality continues to be a suspect. In 2012, ASAR for the first time measured the English learning abilities of children from rural schools. More than half the students in standard 8th grade could not read simple English sentences, while only 25% of all those who could read managed to comprehend what they read. And hence, despite the fact that English is a subject from grade 1, parents somehow are not too sure if sending children to regional language schools will help the kids get better in English. Regional language schools have English as a subject from standard 1. And this is where possibly we would want to come in. There are a lot of government run free regional language schools. There are affordable private schools. There is one point which I would urge you to note, that this whole pull out from free government schools into regional language schools is not happening in search of good quality education. It's happening because people want to see their children study English. So possibly the pull out could be happening at the expense of good inputs in other subjects like mathematics, science, history and geography. In the last 5 years, around 82 regional language schools under Bombay Municipal Corporation have shut down and 42,000 students have exited the system. We believe at Leap Forward that government run free regional language schools have the most important role to play in the pursuit of universal education. And that's where we want to make a contribution. The good government regional language schools also becoming better in the delivery of English. We have been around for a while, struggling a lot, and we've realized the primary reason why English is not learnt well and more importantly not taught well in underserved communities or regional language communities, because it necessitates the need of a teacher who can herself or himself speak English, right. Now you will not get an English speaking teacher in a remote part of this country, but if speaking English is in a town earning what the skills can be traded for. And that's where our solution comes into picture. We are saying that English need not be taught by a person who can speak English and need not be taught in English, it can be taught in regional language. So our solution essentially comprises of 4 elements. First, the content is highly modular, 4 levels, 8 modules. A child comes at a module which is equal to his current ability. It's very structured, right. Entire course, each module is broken down into weekly learning outcomes. Each week is divided into hourly learning outcomes, and each hour is divided into 15-minute units, right. These are content which is taught by people who are not trained. So how do you teach a person to say, what do I teach in the next half an hour? I'm not a formally trained teacher. And rule based, right. One point is that English ought to be rule based. English ought to be like maths, right. Let me give you an example. Imagine 3 students, one in grade 4, grade 8 and grade 12, all learning mathematics. The grade 4 student learns the 4 basic operations, fractions and decimals. The grade 8 standard student learns algebraic equations, quadratic, linear, and the 12th standard student learns calculus. Now these teachers, the grade 4 teacher, grade 8 teacher and grade 12 teacher, amazing teachers, add extraordinary value to the respective students, but the grade 4 teacher does not know algebraic equations and the grade 8 teacher does not know calculus, and yet they are all equally amazing, adding equal value to their respective students. So we need to make English like maths. So if I am a teacher who can't comprehend but I can read, do I have a course content and a pedagogy which allows me to teach children only to read? And if I can read and comprehend a bit, give me some stuff and I will teach my kids to understand. And if I can make grammatically correct sentences, man, I can take my students to a level where they can read, write, comprehend and structure grammatically correct sentences. So content followed by delivery, like I said, not even one word of English gets uttered in any of our classes. It is purely in regional languages. So what does this content and delivery do together? It eliminates the need of an expert teacher in that remote classroom. If you tell me what I have to do in 15-minute units, and if you tell me that I can do it without speaking English, I am ready to become a teacher. All our teachers in a pilot test bed of Shirpur, a tribal belt in district Dhule, Maharashtra, are farmers. They grow crops, spend 1 hour a day, 1 hour every day, and are leap forward trainers. But all this is good. Are you compromising on effectiveness, right? That's where we say, can we use technology? So all our content today is audio in the process of making it video, right? And this is delivered through micro SD data cards on mobile phones that teachers have. Quickly a small demo.
सर्वप्रथम पेज नंबर 57 मधलं जे टेबल आहे ना, त्याच्यात मी TION ने संपणारे शब्द वाचतोय. TION चा आवाज येतो शन, टिऑन नाही, शन. याचा अर्थ काय? जेव्हा कोणता शब्द असा येईल जो TION नी संपत असेल तर काय करायचं? TION हाताने लपवायचा, राहिलेला शब्द वाचायचा आणि त्याला शन जोडायचं. उदाहरणार्थ नंबर 1 ACTION ॲक्शन, ॲक्शन. 2 CAPTION कॅप्शन, कॅप्शन.
Similarly for TURE, all TURE words are sounded chur, so it becomes a picture. Right? For a long time I thought it's picture. Then I realized what's phonetics, it's pick and chur. Right? So all LE words are ul, you put a P before it becomes a pul, and hence sample, become B before it becomes a bul, and hence probable. Right? So how can you use technology to ensure that you eliminate mother tongue influence in that remote part using whatever is available with us? So maintaining effectiveness despite not having an expert teacher. And can you measure it? Right? All this is good, but can you measure it? So we invested some of our resources and designed an assessment software. So kids take a test in their class, multiple tests. They collect that data and they enter the data in the assessment software. The assessment software is able to analyze learning gaps at an individual child level. Now when you collect individual child learning outcomes over a collective, those are the learning input that have to be given to the teacher. So collective gaps become the corresponding learning or teaching inputs for the teacher. So that's what we are primarily trying to do: eliminate expertise, maintain effectiveness, and keep measuring when you get better. We deliver this to what we call a teacher entrepreneur model. Train lay people, certify them to become LFW trainers, help them set up a center in their respective villages, train kids in their community for which they get paid by the parents of the children. 2 rupees a day if you can afford, 1 rupee a day if you can't afford anything, come by in, right? We'll figure out how to do it. Typically spend 1 hour every day, 6 days a week. Entire course is about 20 to 24 months program. Right from English illiteracy to a stage child can read, write, comprehend and structure grammatically correct sentences. In the last concluded academic year, period of 7 months, 1,290 rupees is the average income of our 23 teacher entrepreneurs for teaching 1 hour every day per month. This is monthly income. So we have 2 main programs, a children's program age group 7 to 11 and the youth program for age group 18 to 25. Objective of the former is that can we have our kids from rural areas explore science as an opportunity, right? More doctors, more engineers. And youth program is like, hey, can we find you opportunities that are commensurate with whatever education that you have? Duration is a slightly longish, 20 to 24 months. That's crashed 4 to 6 months. The scope continues to remain the same. Complete English illiteracy to a stage where people read, write, comprehend, and structure grammatically correct sentences. We are not a spoken English class. The first time I spoke English was, as in continuous English, apart from my vivas, was when I went into my first job. And put me in front of a girl, I could hardly speak, right? But I became an engineer, and I became a good engineer. I would want to believe I became a good engineer, right? To complete engineering or a medicine, you don't really need to speak, right? You need other stuff. Can I comprehend and structure sentences? My paper can be corrected. Delivery continues to be through people who are not trained themselves using low-cost technology which is easily available. And differentiation in the youth program, we also measure through a test which is very similar to your TOEFL and the IELTS, right, which aspirants take when they go abroad. But our test cannot differentiate between the English abilities of people in this room. It differentiates between the English abilities of early learners. I'm a terribly serious guy. People say I never laugh. Just to bring some fun in the whole serious business and also to ensure some healthy competition, we copied a concept. The popular American spelling bee, we copied it and made word power championship. So children from our villages compete with each other. On the second Sunday of every June, we organize a contest called Word Power Championship, where kids compete in areas of reading, spelling and meaning of words. By the way, in the last academic year, the people who qualified for the finals spelled these words. The finalists read these words and they gave the meaning of these words, right? And the point to be underscored is that these kids did not know to read simple words just 4 months before the contest day. In the last 5 years, we've reached out about 5,000 odd students, 150 odd teachers. Our results have been in the range of 69 to 74, which means of every 100 students who enter a reading program, approximately this range have exited having achieved the outcome. So what has happened is that we believe that the possibility or the proposition of saying expertise is eliminated makes this model amenable for adoption by any organization or an institution which has interest in education, has a constituency of students, but a network of untrained teachers. But what's most exciting part of my job is that the pursuit of a challenge, of a seemingly complex problem which has been around for a very long time. We can't be fighting English, right? But still we are fighting. And the pursuit of a challenge, hopefully will let this problem go away, is phenomenally exciting. But what's more exciting is the possibilities that have emerged. 12 months back, we were doing audio content on mobile phone. Today they are video units, right? Which can work on very low-end feature phones. That allows us to train women, men, youth, right? Without us being physically present there. The English language test for youth, can it become a certification? Can we profile or create a database of 5 lakh youth, graded profiles and give it to the industry? Will there be a job opportunity? Assessment, the kids program, right, where we assess the kids, it is actually a platform. It can host any test of any subject. It will measure the learning outcomes. In-service teachers program is 3-day program. So all native speakers, right, we think in regional language or we thought in regional language and spoke in English. So that's how it has always worked. It's worked with everyone. We said, let's not break this. But can I ensure that when you think, your translation is impeccable, is grammatically correct? 3-day program for in-service teachers. Imagine the communication ability of in-service teachers goes up, right? There's no need for people like us to be around. And this is amazing. Arun Chavan, my professor for mechanical engineering, a retired professor, he is now teaching mathematics in the rural belt of Shirpur, right? Spends 1 week every quarter. He has spent 2 years now, and I was leveraging on whatever we have done, our content building and assessment, and saying that, can we do to maths, right, what you're trying to do to English? And imagine the possibility, right? English and a maths enabled rural India, and I think these possibilities will just explode. And more possibilities come up. This is a platform. You guys put it in your context and say, I can improve on your solution, all game. By the way, I can use it for my own problem, all game. I believe that the solutions are actually infinite. Thank you very much.